The 2003 NCAA Basketball Tournament is on CBS, and the road to the Final Four runs through Tampa. Welcome to the St. Pete Times Forum, the matchup from the South Bracket. Number 10 seed Colorado facing 7th seeded Michigan State. First of two night games here in Tampa, with the winner here taking on the winner of the Florida-Sam Houston State game, which is still to come. Michigan State enters action at 19-12, Colorado at 20-11. It's the Big Ten against the Big 12 as we take a look at the starting lineups. First for Colorado, Mirandis, Pele, Harrison, McGee, and Wilson, the starting five. Michigan State goes with Anaganye, Anderson, Lorbek, Hill, and Torbert. Head coach at Colorado is Ricardo Patton, now in his 8th year as the head man of the Buffaloes. His second appearance in the NCAA tournament took this team here back in 1997. And Tom Izzo, what a success story with the Spartans. His team has been to 3 of the last 4 Final Fours. Tony Green, George Harry, Joseph Lindsay, the officials here tonight. Ian Eagle, Jim Spanarkel, Darren Horton with you. This is game 3 of 4 matchups here in Tampa, Florida, and we have had 2 outstanding games to open play here. One going to overtime and one going down to the final seconds.
And this game here, on paper, you just can't, and I can't wait to see what happens on the glass. Both of these teams just love to rebound. They go after it. They rebound by committee.
Mirandis, pull-up jumper, no. Pele battling for the loose ball. It's out of bounds. We are expecting a physical matchup, and something that Ricardo Patton told us yesterday, they cannot allow Michigan State to dominate them off the boards.
No, but we watched their practice yesterday, Colorado, and out of the 8 practices, they went after it and went after it pretty hard and aggressively yesterday.
We'll tell you a little bit about some of the drills they ran later on.
They had me shocked, but I've been around this game a while.
Off the turnover, Pele gives up his dribble. First minute of play. 7 seed against a 10 seed. Pele outside. This is Wilson. Feed down low. Harrison on a kick out. Pele, one dribble and a jumper. Good defense, and Torbert showing you some of that leaping ability with a defensive rebound.
And Harrison a force down low. It looks like they're going to double team him when he gets the catches at the other end of the floor.
Anaganye hands to Hill. A smooth stroke from the outside. Torbert not known for his jump shot. Off the rim, and it's rebounded by Harrison, the 7-footer.
Probably force him to take that shot until he starts to nail a couple of those.
McGee, the freshman point guard, and a turnover. This is Hill. Anaganye position down low. Anaganye the hook.
Good defensive presence there by Harrison, but Anaganye really using the body well. I mean, it's a great matchup up front. Gives up some size to Harrison, but clearly the bodies will match up, and he'll bang and look for opportunities on the blocks. And the experience of Anaganye. Won a national championship with Michigan State back in 2000. Second year as a captain. Inside, the discard by Harrison. But quickly we get a look at his skills. The footwork, very good. Looking to break down the defense. Alan Anderson starting at the point guard spot for Michigan State. And they have a lot of size with Anderson at the point. Mirandis picks up the personal foul. You've got Torbert, who's 6'4", but plays like he's 6'7", and Chris Hill, who is an all-everything performer. Alan Anderson at the free throw line, 84%. Well, that's when you take a look at Michigan State, too, with their rebounding capabilities. You look at Anaganye, who really, you know, is their leading rebounder, a real muscle guy underneath, but they're so distributed, the rebounding across the line for this team. That's why it'll be interesting once the shots start to go up, watching the positioning, the body language of these players, and the aggressiveness. If there are any questions about Michigan State, it's on the offensive end, whether or not they'll get enough scoring punch from someone other than Chris Hill. He's the only player averaging double digits in scoring. And a 4-2 advantage for Michigan State. Pele off a double, trying to feed the post, and knocked away by Anderson. Harrison was the man that camped out down low. We've seen Colorado come down about 3 or 4 times already, looking for Harrison on the blocks. Anderson that time had to come from the weak side to come over and help out. For grabs. Dangerous pass by Mirandis. Looked like he was trying to bounce it off a Michigan State player. Can't get too cute. Pele swings it. Wilson with the stroke for 3. Book it. Good ball fake right there. too. Be patient with the basketball. Let runners and defenders go by you. Show them a little ball.
Blair Wilson, a 35% shooter from long range, as Torbert was hanging along the baseline, and a foul called on Pele.
There's that rebounding we talked about. Whenever a missed shot goes up, Ricardo Patton knows. Here's that ball fake at the other side of the floor. Blair Wilson, look at the extension. Good rotation on the basketball.
Second team foul against Colorado. Anderson feeds it to the corner. Hill's three is good.
Well, a 40% shooter from long range, but he's very, very effective when they set screens. There was a little delayed double screen action just then.
And some activity down low as Gagne is going to have his hands full with Harrison today. Gagne is a big man at 6'8", 260. He's still giving up about 5 inches to David Harrison.
And one of the things about Harrison that you notice very quickly when you see him in person is the fact that he works very hard to get good established position on the blocks. So that's one of the things Michigan State's going to have to be very wary of as this game progresses.
James Mookie Wright checks in for Colorado. Paul Davis in for Michigan State, the freshman. Mirandis hanging in the air. A tremendous athlete. He's averaging 17 points per game. Anderson trying to catch Colorado napping. Off the mark, and Harrison clears it.
Here's the pace. He's going to pick up a little bit, go end to end. Yeah, that's going to be a carry.
Michel Mirandis looking to take it down the lane, but he was called for that carry at the head of the key.
You don't see that call too often anymore in college basketball, but I think that's one that the officials and the game has to look at a little bit, because clearly right there you get a major league advantage when you can cup that basketball and keep moving.
You can go anywhere you want.
Exactly.
Torbert feeding to the corner. Knocked out of Anderson's hands, and Michigan State will retain it with 27 to shoot. Ricardo Patton leading this team to a 20-win season in the Big 12. That is an accomplishment, and they had some huge victories this year over Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma State. All of their success, though, seemed to come at home as Lorbek takes the jump shot. Lorbek from Slovenia, and they knew they were getting a player that could shoot it from the outside. Wilson, another three. He cans it.
Well, he's squaring up real well to the basket. You get those kind of looks if you don't have a hand in your face.
On the kick out, Torbert feeds it. Lorbek on a leaner.
And Torbert brings so much attention to his body when he's going with the basketball, because he's so good in the lane. He can really elevate and get over people. Defensively, people start to run right at him, and it opens up a lane for his teammates.
Here's Mirandis hanging in the air, and he wanted to shoot it, realized he didn't have an open look, tried to pass it off and turns it over. Tom Izzo's Michigan State Spartans with an 11-10 lead over Colorado early. One-point game here in Tampa with Michigan State in front. Welcome back, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarco. I guess that feeling out process usually we see in the first couple of minutes. Throw that out the window. How about the pace so far?
Pace has been great, I think, on paper. You know, you try to guess coming into the tournament to see which games are going to stack up to be the good games. And clearly we thought this would be a nice game, competitive basketball game. 4 for 6, both teams from the floor. It's going up and down. They're really getting to know one another very quickly.
Michigan State 11, Colorado 10. Spartans basketball after the timeout. Here's Hill. He's played point guard for this team, a combo guard. Ager is checked into the game. He's the freshman from Detroit, and a turnover.
And Colorado came out shooting, looking for openings. There's Blair Wilson going deep from the left side of the floor. Hit one also from straight on. So giving them a nice range from outside.
Chance to take the lead. Pele had it knocked away, and a reach-in foul as Pele rolled towards the basket. Stefan Pele, who is a rebounding machine, averaging 9.4 per game. Last year, he averaged a double-double. He came close this season in his senior year. Foul called on Maurice Ager. And a side out.
Michigan State going into their 2-3 zone right now. A little bit of a look for match also, matchup defense.
Here's Mirandis, able to hang, and Harrison can't convert. Follows it up for the bucket.
Very, very good at using the hands to get the positioning with the basketball so he can deliver it. Good stay with that particular play on the second opportunity.
And a steal by Pele. Breakaway. Pele Two-handed jam.
Hill trying to be a factor defensively, but no chance in getting back quick enough to stop that with the great elevation.
Stefan Pele, a steady performer. He is underrated no more.
This defense is really perimeter oriented.
Give and go. Hill pushing and shoving inside, and Davis is fouled. They are going at it here in the first 5.5 minutes.
And going up high also. Check the finish right there. Strong and convincing.
Colorado leading by 3. Free throws coming. 14:36 to go here in the first half. Foul was called on James Wright, the senior from Los Angeles, California. And Davis connects on the first. 66% shooter. A McDonald's All-American. Another McDonald's All-American coming in, and that's Kelvin Torbert, as he replaces Allen Anderson. Tom Izzo can mix and match because he's got some players that can do a little bit of everything.
Well, that's the beauty when you have interchangeable parts like that. You can run guys at different sets. It's difficult to scout, and it's also difficult to prepare for when you have different chemistry on the floor like that.
Miranda's so active, trying to use the window, no good. And Davis clears it.
Pretty good balance, though, this trip defensively by Colorado.
Hill veers to the outside for a jumper. And Torbert has the offensive rebound. Ager puts it on the floor. Fadeaway jump. No good. Wilson tracks down the loose ball. Colorado looking to run. Bounce pass. McGee, and a foul called before the shot. They will wave off the layup. You can get complete NCAA tournament coverage with live updated brackets and the latest developments on the road to the Final Four. It's all at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Kelvin Torbert is called for the personal foul. Mirandis will get a breather. Pele comes in to replace Harrison. And we will also see Lamar Harris for the first time this evening.
You guys are not looking not to get out of this basketball game right now with the pace. A few of them out there breathing pretty hard to start this thing off.
Glenn Eddy is checked in for Colorado as well, a freshman.
And matchup. Michigan State going to the matchup right now. The easiest way to pick that off is when somebody cuts through the middle. The guy who he's defending just stays right in the middle of the floor.
Wilson lost it, wrestled it away, able to follow his shot for an offensive rebound. Pele hits the deck and gets the roll.
Oh, look at all the traffic, too. Pele really playing aggressive basketball, which is what he's known for.
Spartans waste little time, though. They get it down the floor in a hurry.
The transition defensively, Colorado's running with them down at the other end of the floor.
Davis so agile for a 6'11", 240-pound freshman. Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan last year.
Not only will he hit those little fancy shots in there, but he will hit that little jumper from 15 also.
Pele off balance. You see the white jerseys go to the loose ball.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's how infrequent is one guy going after it.
Hill finds Davis cutting to the goal.
Good decision there by Davis. Got down the middle of the floor. No one picked him up, so you run right to the target, which is the basket, and hope that somebody finds you. He was found and delivered.
Colorado takes a timeout with 13:02 left to play. First half, Michigan State leads by 1. Michigan State 17, Colorado 16 with 13:02 to go until halftime. High skill level from both of these teams so far. Ricardo Patton's squad and Tom Izzo's Spartans. 17th appearance in the NCAA tournament, 6th in a row for Michigan State.
And if the first 7 minutes of this basketball game is any indicator, these two teams are very well matched and really ready to go after one another.
Colorado shooting it at 54%, Spartans at 50%. Miranda's puts it on the floor. Outside, Wright handles it with 14 to shoot. 10 on the timer. Here's Wright against Torbert. Loses it. Forced to pass it off. Jump shot, Mirandis, no, and Anaganye has the board.
Look at the break. They get down in a hurry, don't they?
Ager went down in a heap, and traveling is called.
He's really just trying to bail himself out on that particular play because he slipped going down, coming down the floor, and then figured, well, take a shot at throwing it at Harrison, hopefully getting a lucky break to have it roll out of bounds. No such luck, though.
Changes for Michigan State. Lorbek and Anderson check in.
And here's that slide, clearly a travel, and trying to throw the ball once again. Didn't work, though.
Blair Wilson returns for Colorado. Looks like they have taken care of the wet spot. Spartans lead by 1. Around the perimeter, Mirandis. Wilson looks to the inside. Pele on a turnaround. Too much on it. Rebounded by Mirandis.
A couple of bodies trying to check out. Nobody really got a body on Mirandis. Ball went flying over their heads.
Colorado spreads the floor. Mirandis. Wilson off the dribble.
Harrison's looking for it down low. He's finally got it.
Harrison faces a double team. Lorbek and Anaganye. It doesn't matter. Turnaround jump shot for David Harrison. He's got 6.
You may say on surface that was a little bit of a force, but boy, did he ever knock that down.
Torbert's jumper is good.
Shoots it on the way down a little bit. He jumps so strongly and aggressively in the air, but then doesn't shoot at the peak of his jump. Kind of a little flight downward. He still knocks that one back. Yeah, they got the big fellas down low. They're finally going to blow the whistle. This is going to get really aggressive down low with Anaganye and Harrison down on the blocks.
Second foul on Anaganye of Michigan State. Spartans still up by 1. Colorado ball after the timeout. Wilson to trigger in. Harrison trying to create space for himself inside. They go to the perimeter.
Well, he just forces his way to a spot on the floor.
Mirandis feeds the post. Double team comes. Kick out. Wilson. Look at the game summary. Michigan State up by 13. They're shooting 52%, including 4 of 6 from three-point territory. And they're spreading the scoring duties around, as has been the case throughout the season.
Absolutely. It's kind of their MO, and they've been doing it with guys coming in off the bench, contributing and going after it. And you take a look at the shooting for Colorado. Having some problems with 4 of 14 of their last 14 shots.
Wilson hit a couple of threes earlier, and you can tack one more on the board. 9 points, his 3rd trifecta.
Oh, great defensive play.
Harrison blocks the shot attempt of Anderson. Mirandis intercepted. Now it's a run out. Race to the rim. Hill leaning in. Can't spin it home, but a foul.
Mirandis just handed that ball almost to Hill in the open floor, pushing it down the floor, having a little bit of a set after the block by Harrison. And here's that block. Stay away with your body. Good job there by the big fella and keeping it in play.
And a problem for Colorado. Mirandis, their leading scorer this season, has just picked up his 3rd foul. One of the top big players in the Big 12 this season. Chris Hill, 77% free throw shooter. He's got 7 points. And Mirandis is forced to the bench, replaced by James Wright.
He's had some problems with his left ankle, struggling a little bit, but clearly on that play you want to stay away, understanding the situation. You always want to avoid picking up that 3rd foul in the first half of a basketball game.
Hill, 2 out of 2. Good looking stroke from the free throw line. 38-26, Spartans. Here's Copeland on the perimeter.
And back to the man-to-man with Michigan State right now. A time possibly to get it to Harrison if they can work it. Swing the basketball.
3 minutes to play, first half. Wright. On the outside, Copeland.
They're just not allowing anybody by.
Copeland side rim.
You will not see defense played any better than the last couple of sets by Michigan State.
Torbert had it knocked away by Harrison.
Once again, a factor. Torbert late getting up and slow to get up down the other end of the floor.
5 on 4 for Colorado, and you're right, Torbert is limping just a little bit as he crosses midcourt.
And once again, the challenge right here, first guy in, but it's generally the second guy who's going to try and get the block. Boy, he gets buried in a hurry, doesn't he?
Foul was called on Lorbek, his first, and it sends Stefan Pele to the free throw line. Big soccer fan, and he figured with the last name Pele, why not? Cameroon national team. That's Justin Timberlake is your host. Celine in Las Vegas. Opening night live Tuesday on CBS. 1 out of 2 for Pele. Lorbek finds the cutter. Davis, contact, and it rims out. Almost a chance for 3.
They're really passing the ball well. When they get the basketball down on the blocks, the big guys for Michigan State either sit out looking for 15-footers or they fill the lane. You're going to see him come right down the middle of the path right here. Big fella goes, attacks, gets his shot off, and nearly puts it down. Good understanding of the offense. They really worked on it yesterday afternoon, watching their practice. The fact that they were looking for spots, running a lot of those types of drills that get them their shots during the game. So it's no wonder that if you practice them, you practice the cuts and the splits, you're going to get those shots in the game.
First foul on Lamar Harris. Davis misses on a pair. 6 points, 4 rebounds for Paul Davis, the freshman center.
Even though they were all 1-hour practices yesterday, these two went at it harder than any of the other 6 teams.
Harris, the rebound off the Wilson miss. Copeland, traveling call.
And the anxiety of trying to get a shot off there, a little hop step for Copeland before he really actually went after the rim. And once again, he was kind of hop stepping away from the basket. You got to throw yourself at the basket at that point.
10th Colorado turnover. And they trail by 11. 2 minutes to play first half. Oh, Anderson, gorgeous move to the rim.
Did he ever bait the defenders too? High side screen set by Torbert. He decides to go baseline because the defenders jump.
40-27 Michigan State. And it comes off the foot of James Wright. Out of bounds.
You notice the defenders go one way, and now it's just a big-time challenge. Straight at it, little dipsy-do. Watch the defenders. Defender slides up, and that means the baseline is open. A little late, Colorado getting there for the blocks.
Now Michigan State with a chance to take their largest lead, currently 13. Davis, blocked, but a foul. Harris and Pele double teaming Davis inside.
You know, it's so important for big guys to understand to move and set themselves up before the actual pass starts, and Davis is doing a wonderful job both outside and inside of establishing position about a fraction of a second before the pass is delivered.
They give Harris his second personal foul as Davis drains the first. 14-point advantage for Michigan State. 1:31 left on the clock here in the first half. McGee comes in to replace Wright. Harris takes a seat as well for Colorado. And Glenn Eddy is back on the floor. .131 to play here in the first half. Paul Davis goes to the sideline for Michigan State. Jason Andreas comes in to replace him.
Look at that pressure out front once again. It's so consistent.
Little hook shot, David Harrison.
And the officials are doing a good job also. When Harrison catches the basketball, on occasion we've seen Michigan State players try to flop, and the officials haven't been baited. They're not buying it, and they're allowing Harrison to work a little bit, but he still has to be careful with the body.
8 points for Harrison out of Nashville, Tennessee. He has a chance to be dominant if his offensive game develops. Hill feeds it down low. Lorbek.
Pele with a good step across.
Little two-man game. Lorbek. Good move. Comes up short. Harrison lead feed.
Need a good decision right here.
Wilson. Deposited right back to him. Not sure if he was looking to pass it or shoot it. 30 seconds to go, first half. Taking their time with about a 2-second differential. Shot clock to game clock. Torbert. And timeout Michigan State. We'll take a break. 42-29. Michigan State in front. Michigan State Spartans controlling the action here in the first half. This game was dead even through the first 6-7 minutes of action. But the defensive intensity that you mentioned earlier, Jim, has been a huge difference for the Spartans.
And I'm not so sure Colorado expected the Spartans to really push it as much as they've been trying to push it up the floor also.
Drive by Lorbek. Hesitation. No good. Little chippy on the inside, and Anderson able to get the loose ball at the buzzer. Over the backboard from McGee. And Michigan State will head to the break with a 44-29 advantage for Tom Izzo's team. The 7th seed in the South handling the number 10 seed, the Colorado Buffaloes. Let's go to Darren Horton. Darren?
Tom Izzo, 44 points in the first half, balanced scoring. But my question to you is, could you have played better defense than that?
I thought we did a heck of a job defensively. They still got a good team. We couldn't handle them in the post sometimes, but we doubled. We did a pretty good job.
Ian, they forced 11 turnovers, and they have a big lead. Let's go back to you.
All right, Darren, thanks very much. End of half number 1. It's 44-29. Michigan State over Colorado. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half. Singular's wireless polling allows you to get into the game.
Welcome, everyone, to Singular at the Half here in our New York studios. Greg Gumbel, along with Clark Kellogg. Our score at halftime in Tampa, Michigan State with a 44-29 lead on the Buffaloes of Colorado. Michigan State is one of those teams, Clark, everybody said they were picking up steam as the regular season wound down, and they look at tonight.
They certainly do. They were terrific at the defensive end, really packed it in and were aggressive, knocked down the three-point shot. Offensive efficiency was excellent. They've played a very, very sharp first half.
Now, the winner of this Colorado-Michigan State game will play the winner of the Florida-Sam Houston State game still to come this evening. Meanwhile, in the Fleet Center in Boston, highlights of Wagner and Pittsburgh. Diedrich Diab Wagner with a 3 to give the Seahawks an early 2-point lead.
And then Pittsburgh's Donatas Zavatkis coming off that screen, squares it up and knocks down the 3. The Panthers by 3. Then Zavatkis going to feed Ontario Lett, and this is where Pittsburgh's done most of its damage inside.
And Pittsburgh Julius Page off a screen, far side, buries the 3-pointer. Panthers lead was 30-19 at that point. It is now a 40-29 lead, and at least at this point, the Panthers are the most physically superior team.
Yeah, they really are, and they're doing it inside. They've got a balanced attack, Greg, and I just think Wagner is overmatched from a size standpoint in the paint area.
All right, other games that are in progress now in Birmingham, Alabama. First round action in the East. Austin Peay trails Louisville by a score of 43-31. They are just under 1:10 to play in the first half. Let's take you there live and join Craig Bolerjack and Dan Bonner.
1:08 left in this opening half. We'll try to check on the condition of Francisco Garcia. Contact, the shot would not fall down for Josh Lewis. Otis George picks up the foul, his second.
Oh, my.
Josh Lewis knocks down the free throw. You saw the pictures there of Francisco Garcia being helped off as there he goes to the locker room. Out of the Bronx, a freshman, great talent. The Conference USA Freshman of the Year was tangled up with Rhett Wiersbe of Austin Peay the last time down the court. And we saw several replays, Dan, where it looked as though the knee buckle. We'll try to get you updated. And another
now Wiersbe's down. Wiersbe's the guy that got tangled up with Garcia. And now Wiersbe's down at midcourt. I was watching the ball. I did not see what happened. I think he ran into a screen.
Never saw it.
Well, Wiersbe is a guy that goes full speed all the time, and unless you're going to call the screen, he really got whacked, and I think he bounced his head off the floor.
Exactly.
He's trying to stay with Reese Gaines. He never sees George. Bang, down he goes.
Well, this has been a rugged minute and a half. So Wiersbe is forced to the bench, and the trainer will take a look at Wiersbe. Oh boy. Carmichael brings it across midcourt. Under a minute to go. 43-33 Louisville. Little alley-oop. Threw it too deep. Now the turnaround follow away. Tough shot. Up for the rebound is Eric Brown. Shot clock off. Stepped out of bounds. You know, I was watching Taekwon Dean's eyes. He got a little lax. And then he lost the handle, tried to recover, and then stepped out.
And this is an opportunity for Austin Peay after they got shelled with that Louisville run and fell behind. They have an opportunity to cut this lead under 10 at halftime.
21 seconds and change. Austin Peay a chance to get back within single digits. Carmichael across midcourt. On his pocket is Dean. They go inside, double team, hit the side of the backboard. Boy, good defense by Louisville, man.
Well, they have time.
4 seconds, 3 seconds. Dean, they give it off. Gartez, and then at the buzzer, they're going to count it. And the shot falls in for Eric Brown. At the buzzer.
Yeah, the clock in the lower right of your screen. Brown cuts into the middle. This is great patience. No panic right there. Ball out of his hand just at 0.
45-33 at the half. Let's go courtside. Brett Haber with Rick Pitino.
Craig, thanks very much, Rick. About halfway through that first.
So the Louisville Cardinals, things going their way. At halftime, they lead 45-33 in Nashville. They're in the final seconds of the first half. Troy State and Xavier, the Musketeers with the lead. Let's go to Jim Nantz and Billy Packer.
Evans driving. Foul called on Miles with 1 second on the shot clock.
Well, that's the third time tonight Evans has been able to work his way inside. As we mentioned, missed 2 that seemed like he had them easily. That time picked up the foul.
Xavier with its All-America and National Player of the Year. David West on the bench with 2 fouls. Able to dictate this game defensively. 27% they've held Troy State to from the field. And Lionel Chalmers and Diedrich Finn have really dictated things too from that Xavier backcourt. Chalmers with 14 to lead the way.
Evans only a 64% free throw shooter. High games this year of 15 twice. And Miles pulls off some strong rebounds.
Then on the drive, swatted away by Baker.
Finn really got himself kind of out of position. 3.2 seconds, plenty of time. And if I were Xavier, I'd figure some way to get Chalmers the ball. There he is.
Short this time. And Troy State finds themselves down 15. They came back from 19 down against Jacksonville on the road 10 times this year. Troy State has come back from a halftime deficit, but this is Xavier.
Yeah, not against a club like this.
22 points in the first half. That's a season low for the Trojans. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie?
Coach, we were talking before the game how Lionel Chalmers is finally getting back to clicking on all cylinders with the foot. How's he really been able to step up with West on the bench?
Well, I tell you, he's done a great job handling the pressure for us. He's knocked some threes down. Also did a tremendous job making extra passes tonight.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Thad Matta and his Musketeers. We'll see West in that second half. Leading at 37-22 at halftime. Greg Gumbel coming up after this.
Four games around the country, and all of them are at halftime. We'll bring you up to date on all the highlights.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half. Singular's wireless polling allows you to get into the game.
Welcome, everyone. Singular at the half here in New York. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg, and we are going to run down all the scores and highlights for you as they are now, as all 4 games are at halftime. And we will begin with Troy State and Xavier at the break. The Musketeers are leading it by a score of 33-27. The Musketeers are a strong team.
They really are, and David West, their All-America, has been saddled by foul trouble, 2 fouls, but defense and the play of Chalmers and Romain Sato in the backcourt has been the difference.
And this is Troy State's first ever trip to the NCAA Tourney. The Trojans come in at 26-5, but they trail Xavier by a score of 33-27. Austin Peay and Louisville, 45-33. The Cardinals are in the lead, and the Cardinals looking for their 25th victory. And at halftime, the Cardinals and Rick Pitino with a 45-33 lead. Let's take a look at highlights. Austin Peay and Louisville. Austin Peay's Adrian Henning with a 3 to tie the game early on. And then Reese Gaines with a 3 and Louisville with a lead.
And Louisville doing what they do so well, getting the turnover by virtue of solid defense. Luke Whitehead going to get it ahead to Reese Gaines. 12-11 Cardinals. Then Adrian Henning attacking that Louisville defense with a nice, tough drive here. Louisville's lead was only 1.
The Cardinals returning to the tournament for the first time since 2000, looking good so far, and the winner takes on Mississippi State. Butler game, that's still to follow. From Tampa now, Colorado, Michigan State.
Stephon Pele with the steal and the punch. It's a 3-point lead for Colorado State, but then after that, Michigan State got going. Actually, Colorado trailing on the nice reverse layup there by Allen Anderson.
And then Michigan State's Chris Hill to Kelvin Torbert. Monster dunk down there. And Michigan State's lead at halftime over Colorado is 44-29. Here's the question for the Singular Wireless fan poll. What's been the best finish to a tournament game so far? Was it NC State, California, Wisconsin, Milwaukee against Notre Dame, Auburn against St. Joe's, or Utah, Oregon? Singular Wireless users send vote to 171 or log on to cbssportsline.com/singular. We'll have the results later in tonight's coverage. Some of you will send back to the game that you've been watching, and we thank you for joining us. For the rest of you, we'll continue with our halftime activities from New York after this.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half. Singular's wireless polling allows you to get into the game. Exclusive coverage of the Men's Basketball Championship is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, Pepto-Bismol, Warner Brothers Dreamcatcher, and by Microsoft.
Second half action getting underway here in Tampa, and 44-29 is the score with Michigan State in front of Colorado. This is first round action from the South. Tom Izzo's team offensively, as well as they've played in a half this season. Shot the ball at 48%. They're winning the rebounding category by 1, and the most points that they have put up in a first half in any game this season, 44. Colorado opens with the basketball here in the second half. McGee puts some English on it, and it doesn't go.
I like the thought process to start. Touch it to Harrison, nothing there. Get it back out and try going to the basket.
Off the deflection, Lorbek thought about it from long range.
Michigan State starting out the first 30 seconds of this half, showing that they're a little bit quicker to the basketball. That last one was up for grabs. They retained it. Back
Gagne on the back door for Anderson.
Nice little set just then. Set the defenders up. You know Colorado's going to come out and pressure the perimeter. They have to start the half. Good set there by Tom Izzo.
Spartans have their largest lead, 17. Miranda's looking to get involved, and he does with a jumper.
Well, he's got to find a way to get good looks like that. And his best bet is to keep putting the ball on the floor to find some spacing so he can get that shot off.
For Mirandis, only his second field goal, 4 points. Hill comes to the ball. Lorbek, he's skilled. Jump hook.
Well, the little things. It usually for the big guys, it starts with the footwork, and just then a nice catch and step across, and then finishing it off with a little jump hook. And
looks to be some blood on Stephon Pele. They'll take that care of that. Moments ago, Darren Horton chatted with Colorado coach Ricardo Patton.
Coach, you're shooting at 43%, but you're down 15. What'd you tell your kids at halftime?
Well, I thought the biggest thing was we turned the ball over much too much. 11 turnovers first half versus their 4 turnovers. And I think their guards are just outplaying our guards. I think our post guys are good enough, but our guards got to make plays.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Ian, back to you.
I think there's been some yelling from the Colorado sideline from Patton.
That voice is just about done as we check Pele there with his contact. Left contact and dislodged a little bit. We'll fix that and get moving again. But you're right. I mean, Ricardo Patton, his guards are getting outplayed. The perimeter guys have really being stopped out there defensively by Michigan State. The touches are okay at the offensive end for Harrison. 6 shots off in the first half where he was 4 for 6, but he just has to get more looks down low and get him more involved in the second half here.
They've taken care of the contact lens, and Pele is back on the floor. Trying to feed the post. Pele on a kick out. Mirandis, a jumper. He has come out with a purpose here in the second half.
Good skills with the 1 dribble pull-up.
Anderson pull-up and a foul called. So Michigan State, maybe this team is gelling just at the right time. Tom Izzo felt they were playing some of the best basketball that he has seen right at the tail end of the season. They lost to Ohio State 55-54 in the Big Ten semifinals of the tournament. And Anderson hits on the first free throw. McGee picks up his first foul, 11 points for Anderson. 18-19 to go in regulation. Michigan State with a 17-point lead over Colorado. This one was very tight in the early going. Michigan State pulling away about the midway point of the first half. And a foul called as Torbert was trying to deal with Mirandis, and that'll be number 2 on Kelvin Torbert of Michigan State.
And continuing your point there too, Ian, one of the things that Tom Izzo has continued to do with his squad is keep the enthusiasm level up at the defensive end, and it's been very aggressive on the perimeter. Very infrequently have we seen Colorado put the ball on the floor and go by and have a clear path and dribble towards the basket.
They've had a tough time establishing big David Harrison, 7 feet, a lot of double teams inside on the Colorado center.
There's one down low. He's got to go straight up with that.
Harrison gets it to fall, but a foul called before the shot attempt.
That was a good example of how difficult it's been for Harrison to get a good, easy bucket down below. First, Gagne gives him a little pop, then the next guy steps in and gives him a pop, and the third guy comes in and then fouls him. So the catches have been difficult. They've been far and few between, but have to start looking for them more frequently.
First foul on Allen Anderson for the Spartans. Just over 2 minutes gone by here in the second half. 7 seed Michigan State in the South, taking on the 10 seed Colorado. Jump shot, Glenn Eddy, no. And rebounded by Lorbek.
10 guys played in the first half of Tom Izzo. 8 of them put up rebounds and 9 of them scored. So very balanced attack once again.
Torbert able to come up with the basketball. I know one thing you love as a throwback basketball guy is when the ball does not hit the floor and they can advance it in a hurry. With crisp passes and another jump shot. How about the stroke of Chris Hill? 11 points. And the 3 ball goes down.
The most impressive part of this offensive explosion for Michigan State has been their patience and balance at the half-court sets.
McGee on the drive and scoops it through.
Now there's one of those slices, using the dribble, but coming down the floor again with Michigan State, looking for their opportunities.
And Gagne off the mark with a jump hook. Colorado just needs to bunch together some stops. Mirandis, he's got the touch. A 3 for Michel Mirandis. 9 points, 7 of which have come here in the second half, and we haven't even played 4 minutes yet.
And it's been a while since we've seen 2 good sets up and down the floor where Colorado has gotten 2 good looks at the basket. First a drive, and then that pull-up jumper again.
53-38. Hill, it was tipped.
Good job by McGee just then to stay with, even though he fell to the floor after the shot. Good hand in the face.
McGee's jumper, no good. And now Michigan State will slow things down.
Watch for a backdoor cut. Little slicing through the lanes off the screen for Hill.
A three. Chris Hill, who has swung back and forth between the point guard and two guard duties in this his sophomore season, from Indianapolis, Indiana. Attended Lawrence North High School. Hit 10 three-pointers versus Syracuse earlier this season, which is a Big Ten record. He's got 14 points. Harrison, soft touch, can't get it to drop. Foul doesn't go for Eddie. And Mirandis will back it out. Tries to reload against Lorbek. Swings it. Eddie gets the step and a pull-up jump. Knocks it down.
Well, Colorado had to work for that one. Actually, the bottom of the backboard was their nemesis that time with the block shot. This is a team that really has to start making some stops at the defensive end.
And a Gagne, defense from Harrison, and he bounces it to Izzo. Out of bounds. 56-40. Izzo making his feelings known with his team. From Tom Izzo's demeanor during that timeout, you'd never know his team was up by 16. And it was Chris Hill that was getting a lot of the attention from Izzo after that offensive set.
You know, one of the things about good coaches is they never let the throttle back. I mean, he's the type of guy, he knows there's a long way to go in this basketball game, 14-40, and just really needs to keep his intensity level up for his team, especially in the perimeter.
Only 5 Spartan turnovers. Harris is fouled. Free throw shooting, though, has been an issue for Lamar Harris, and he's getting ready to shoot a pair. 51%. The transfer from Compton Community College out in California.
Pretty good look, too, by Harrison just then to his teammate. He has been getting double teamed constantly on the blocks in that time, and I think he's been trying to pass the basketball out of the block situation. But fortunately, you know, unfortunately for him, Michigan State has been closing on him so quickly they hasn't been able to get rid of the basketball.
Second personal foul on Ager, the freshman. Harris averages 4.7 points per game, 5.5 boards. Ballinger battling for it. Harrison trying to save it to the wrong team. Half-court set for the Spartans. Good defense by Wilson, knocked out of bounds as Wright almost came up with a steal.
Tom Izzo still working the sidelines. Little deflected pass. He gets up and makes his feelings known again.
After a little chat with Chris Hill, he has sent his sophomore back onto the floor. Here's Hill. Long three. No. And Harris with a loose ball. Personal foul will be called on Paul Davis.
It's one of the things about Harris. When that ball goes up, he goes after it. Constantly, he's just like a rebounding machine. Every time it's around the glass, he's looking, he's moving his feet to position himself. Colorado has to get a couple things going towards the hoop right now. Chip away at this lead.
Second foul on Davis. Wilson on the perimeter. The experience of James Mookie Wright, the senior.
Notice how good the perimeter defense is. Even when the intent is there with the dribble, they close on.
Harris attacking the rim. And it's a 13-point Michigan State lead. Ballinger on a kick out. Hill pump fake.
Good response on the baseline by Harrison.
And a jumper. Ager, no good.
Little opportunity here. Good decision coming down the floor to try to wilt into the lead.
Mirandis the floater, and he puts it in.
Some nice skills, huh? The pull-up jump shot, a little floater through the lane. And the tempo is starting to switch to Colorado's favor. A little bit of a momentum shift.
12-3 Buffalo run, and that quickly comes to an end. Running one-hander by Davis.
The ability to get that ball high off the glass, especially recognizing Harrison, who looks pretty tired coming down the floor. He's last guy down. He's breathing pretty good.
Mirandis. Soft touch. Doesn't go.
And Harrison wants out. He wants out.
Michigan State beats Colorado down the floor, and Ager with an acceleration to the hoop. Chance for three.
And Colorado as a group starting to look a little tired in their transition defense right now. But you get a seam, you get your shoulder by, and you know you're going to have good action. If you can clear that, going to your right, if you can clear the left shoulder by the defender, you have the right of way, and you're going to get some good results going to the hoop.
And the depth of Colorado is a huge issue as Harrison goes to the bench, and he is sucking wind right now. Ager's free throw is good. David Harrison at 7 feet 250, and there's really no one else that can play that position. Copeland comes in, and at 6'8", 225, only a freshman, more of a wing player. So they'll move Haley around, and they'll use Harris at a power spot as well.
Still trying to dump the basketball down low, but pretty good steal. You see a good strong man-to-man, but there are usually guys in the paint.
Harris is fouled. He'll shoot a pair. Right now, let's send it over to Darren Horton.
Well, Ian Eagle, not to make any excuses for Colorado, they had a really hard time getting here. They had to overcome the second largest snowstorm in the history of the state of Colorado. 43 inches fell in Boulder. They were supposed to be here Wednesday. They didn't get here until yesterday at 3 o'clock. We asked Ricardo Patton about it. He said, hey, no excuses. We're coming to win. Back to you.
It does throw off your routine. There's no doubt about it. Other teams able to come in, practice, and then show up at the sanctioned practices, all 8 of them yesterday, each team getting about a 50-minute time period to work on whatever it is they were interested in. And for Colorado, they were interested in the charge drill. Had you ever seen that before? Why don't you explain it?
That was one of the toughest drills I saw yesterday. The way they play, they do a mock drill where they have a guy come from the wing driving towards the basket, and a guy step from the weak side to the strong side to pick up a charge. Interesting enough, though, they were picking up the charge and taking whacks to the chest without the ball. It was just kind of like a football drill, and he said it's for our freshmen mostly to get really tough and understand the system.
Lorbek gets the deuce on the inside. How about it when it's your turn and you're James Wright, 6 foot 165, and you have to go up against David Harrison, 7 feet in the charge drill as Colorado turns it over.
There's that great footwork by the big men. Well, Lorbek this time, watch a little step across, fake, and come back to the right side here and just step in. Beautifully done. Nice job of ball fakes, a lot of action with the body. He and Davis do a nice job complementing one another when they're both on the floor and individually when they're out there individually and separately.
4 players in double figures for Michigan State. Lorbek hands to Torberg. Under 12 minutes to go now in regulation. Anaganye throws it up off the window, and the loose ball taken by Pele. Michel Mirandis. Stop and go, loses the ball. Gets it back.
Good work by both clubs right there, especially Mirandis.
Right in a mismatch with Lorbek. Copeland steps into a 3. Tip and attempt doesn't go for Harris. And Michigan State controls it. Up the floor, Lorbek, catch, and a bucket.
What a delivery, too, by Hill. Really taking advantage. That's the mix and the match that they've been doing all evening long. A little bit of fast breaking, pulling it back when they don't have it, running their half-court sets. Great delivery just then by Hill.
Fast break points, 19-11 in favor of Michigan State. Wright feeds it down low. Came back down with the basketball. Harris, he was denied.
He was denied by the rim, I think.
And Colorado will retain it. 19-point Michigan State lead here in the second half.
All right, keep the energy.
Michigan State 65, Colorado 46, 11:02 mark, second half here in Tampa. And back into the game for the Buffaloes, David Harrison. Michigan State shooting 52% from the field.
And that clock is starting to work against them a bit. Time to make your run. If you're going to make it over the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Mirandis, jumper, no. And Colorado unable to save it. Anderson. Here's Lorbek. And a kickball. Mirandis got his foot on it. They'll reset the clock to 35. Checking into the game, Rashid Johnson, and he will replace Chris Hill. Michigan State with a 65-46 advantage over Colorado with 10:34 to go, second half. Chris Hill, the high man for the Spartans with 14. Mirandis 11 to lead the Buffaloes, but this one is getting away from them in a hurry.
It's amazing how it switched. You look at the Michigan State balance, 4 players with 10 or more points. That's been their MO for Tom Izzo this year. Real good balance, not necessarily in double figures, but the balance part of it. When Colorado came out in this basketball game the first 7 minutes or so, I thought we had a good one on our hands, and they've kind of fallen asleep a bit.
Lorbek is off the mark with that baseline jumper. Eddie. Back outside, Mirandis. They'll go down low.
Double team, sometimes triple team. Harrison, good kick out.
High-low action as Mirandis is fouled by Torbert out front. It's number 3 on Kelvin Torbert. Substitution, Adam Ballinger will come in to replace Erazem Lorbek. Good work from Lorbek. 12 points, 3 rebounds. The freshman from Slovenia. Another wipe of the court down in the paint area. Had some issues here earlier with the torrential rain. And there were some leaks in the roof here at the St. Pete Times Forum. They took care of that with a tarp, and the rain fortunately died down. Here's Mirandis looking down low. Harrison a catch. Double team comes, and a foul called. Harrison's going to have some bumps and bruises tomorrow morning when he wakes up.
He sure will. Ballinger was the second guy in, but here's the difference. You know, when you look at things and you try to get the basketball down low and you go quickly.
Tournament summary. Big 12 undefeated. Big 10 undefeated. And 11 of 24 games in the first round decided by 5 points or less. Everybody was anticipating such balance because of the way that this college basketball season unfolded. And it's no surprise that we've had down to the wire finishes throughout the first round of the NCAA tournament. But apparently not here. Michigan State comfortably in control.
And the fact that they haven't turned the basketball over much this evening, 5 turnovers for them, which is an extraordinarily good number, especially the active way they're playing.
Knocked away from Anderson. Break opportunity. Wilson gets it ahead and then gets it back. It'll be goaltending. It was on the way down.
There may be a charge on the other side of the floor, is there? Let's see what the call is.
Blair Wilson darting towards the rim. And Eddie is called for a foul.
Yeah, there's the charge after the pass, so forget about the basket. Doesn't matter, because the call, the charge, preceded that particular drive to the basket.
It has been a struggle on the offensive end for the Buffaloes. They come in averaging 75.5 points per game.
They look like a team right now that's had some travel woes, and we just documented that. The trip taking them a while to get here.
Ballinger puts it off the glass. Rashid Johnson with the dish.
Michigan State has just been so efficient at the offensive end in both their full court blast up the floor and also their half court sets. They are just making Colorado work the extra time off the clock defensively. And that's why it's so difficult to get back into this game when you're effective at the offensive end.
Pele's jumper short. Harrison is there for the bucket.
Michigan State continues to keep the pressure on, looking for opportunities to force their way down the floor, and then they settle into their sets. And look at the motion away from the ball. Good double screens down low, good slices and good cuts.
Anderson directing traffic. Ballinger sets the screen. We will hit the 8-minute mark. Second half. Tip ball out near the sideline. Acceleration by Johnson and out of bounds. Last touch by Colorado. 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Davis will come back in for Tom Izzo, replacing Ballinger. Yeah, it's funny. You look at the matchups before the day begins. Everybody looks at their respective brackets, and you and I think everybody that came into the arena figured this would be one of the best matchups of the day here in Tampa. Fairly evenly matched, two big conferences going head to head, and it's been all Michigan State since about the 10-minute mark of the first half.
Two teams that are balanced from the standpoint of guys who like to rebound. I thought they'd be much more balanced team scoring-wise here in this game. 2 on the shot clock.
It's off the mark for Hill. And Gagne denied. Foul call.
But did you see the extension going to the basket? He knew there's a shot blocker back there, Harrison, but you have to challenge the guy offensively and go after it. Watch as Gagne gets this basketball. Watch how his 2 arms extend towards the rim. Even though he knows there's a guy who's going to put a hand up, he still extends the ball and the arms towards the basket. Good job there in getting to the line.
Aloysius Gagne. 3rd year as a starter. Unselfish on the offensive end, recognizing what his role is. And take a look at those arms. Woo.
We got to start hitting the weight room.
I think we got tomorrow off.
I'll see you down there early. An 8-hour session isn't going to help us.
Gagne makes a couple. 69-48 Spartans. Game summary with Michigan State in front by 21. They are still shooting it at a high number, 50%, only 5 turnovers. And that's a pretty good combination.
It sure is. And you look at the points in the paint to add to that, and Tom Izzo's team has put on a nice performance here in the first round.
Michigan State, 3 weeks ago, they were 14-11. And certainly were not a gimme for the NCAA tournament. As Johnson loses out to Wilson. Pele with a throwdown.
Good work there by Wilson. Missed that shot, tried to track it down on the offensive end of the glass to come up with that. And finally tracked it down at half court.
Pele now with 7 points. Michigan State up by 19. Just over 7 minutes left to play.
I like the fact that they've been running this read for the last 3 or 4 minutes. And what it does is it keeps everybody involved because you're touching the ball, a lot of movement without the basketball away from it.
Anderson gives up his dribble.
Plus you're taking time off the clock. They're down under 10 right now.
Shot clock is now at 7. Johnson for Davis. Puts it on the floor. 1 dribble and a J. Copeland tips it up in the air, and it's controlled by Pele.
Even though Davis missed that shot, it shows you the skill level with him putting the ball on the floor, 1 dribble and pulling up. Not bad for a big guy.
Ball movement, Wilson. Outside, Pele. Off the dribble drive. Bank shot, no. Harrison pushed underneath. Near the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we'll select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed more than $8 million to the general scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. A winded David Harrison. 4th foul called on Davis. And it has gotten very physical. He's had a bullseye on his jersey the whole night.
Yeah, it's one thing to keep the pace that Michigan State is forcing them to play up and down the floor, and also when they're in their defensive sets, because Michigan State is really running the ball and running the sets well. But Harrison is just winded because he's getting banged around, like you said, every time he has touched the ball.
Harrison good on the first attempt. He is one of 12 children. McDonald's All-American. He was homeschooled until the 9th grade. His father, Dennis, a defensive end, former member of the Philadelphia Eagles, played in Super Bowl 15 against the Oakland Raiders. And 1 out of 2 from the line for the Nashville native. 69-51, Michigan State.
Step across.
And Wilson will lay it in.
Wilson pretty active, though. He started out this basketball game hitting a couple of threes from long range, still picking it up defensively. Still a long way to go with over 6 minutes to go. They got to get some stops right here, Colorado.
Wilson's been the most improved player at Colorado over the last couple of seasons. Now a key contributor, averaging just under 13 points per game. And a timeout. Michigan State takes time. And Izzo again chatting it up with his young team. Rejoining you from Tampa, let's go over to Darren Horton with a basketball fan you may be familiar with. Darren?
That's right, Ian. I have with me the boss, George Steinbrenner, and I understand you're a huge college basketball fan.
I'm a huge college sports fan. I believe in it. I believe in college football, basketball, track, baseball, everything. The NCAA is a great institution, and the excitement of basketball in college is so tremendous compared to the pros are exciting, but this is what it's all about.
Now, what teams do you pull for?
I pull for, well, I'm a Bob at Night maniac, #1. I pull for Ohio State, football, every sport, and Purdue, and they're in it, and Northwestern isn't in it. I spent time at both those schools.
And I understand your school's actually in the Final Four, right?
Division III, Little Williams College, in the Division III finals. They're in the Final Four. And they're so excited about it there, and that's what's great about it. You know, everybody's excited about college sports. And when I see these professors say, well, we've put too much emphasis on sports, baloney. These young kids learn more lessons right down there than anywhere else in any library.
Well, George Steinbrenner, thank you very much for joining us. Ian, let's go back to you.
All right, Darren, thanks very much. Tampa, of course, is the spring training home of the New York Yankees. I didn't see Matsui around anywhere. Did you see him?
No, I did not pick him out of the crowd yet. Maybe surfacing.
Get a little taste of Americana. Hideki Matsui, the newest New York Yankee, and the boss himself enjoying a great day of college basketball here in Tampa. Michigan State with a 69-53 lead. Mini hook from Harrison doesn't go.
That's the shot they wanted, though. 5 minutes. We're nearing the 5-minute mark, and a couple of opportunities there for Colorado to maybe have chipped into this lead, but let's see if Michigan State can be smart with the ball, which they're not right there.
Harris gets it ahead for Wilson. They've got numbers, and Wilson spins it in.
In another minute or so, Colorado continues to play the defensive end, and maybe they can fight their way back.
7-0 run. And a kick ball, Mirandis. It's 69-55 Michigan State. 4:37 to go here in the second half.
Tom Izzo detects a little flatness with his basketball team right now over the last 90 seconds or so, the last few possessions, and he wants to make sure they pick it up. Let's see if they go back to that weave to get things going a little bit.
Izzo has played 10 different players here tonight. 9 have scored for Michigan State. Anderson fouled out front as Wilson went for the steal. And that weave that Michigan State has been using throughout the evening still working for the Spartans.
It was a pretty good spot just then with Tom Izzo, because we just touched on the fact that he wasn't happy, and then they go back to the weave, which indicates he wasn't happy with the fact that they were not moving the basketball and their bodies away from the ball. So get them going into the weave. You see the front 3 guys on the perimeter really being active, exchanging the basketball and looking for an opportunity to break somebody down.
Team foul number 6.
Good double team here. See if they can get something out of it.
Torberg works his way through it. We approach 4 minutes to play. Anderson comes to the ball, stealed by Mirandis. He will go in untouched for the two-handed slam.
And all of a sudden, Colorado making a little noise at the defensive end.
It's a 9-0 run, and Mirandis is called for a foul as he wrapped up Anderson.
Yeah, he did. He had his left hand, I believe it was, on the waist, trying to go around and get the basketball. Ricardo Patton trying to pull the right strings here, and here's that strip. Mirandis will come down and finish this one off, lining it up, and upstairs he goes.
4th personal foul on Mirandis, and it puts Michigan State in the bonus. 7th team foul against the Buffaloes. Anderson at the free throw line, 12 points, 6 assists. Averages 84% on the season. Hits on the first. Excellent all-around ability. Alan Anderson, he was a wide receiver in high school on a team that won a state championship as a junior. De La Salle High School out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. 2 out of 2. And a timeout. 3:53 left to play. Michigan State in front. The Izzo family down here in Tampa. It's Lupe, Coach Izzo's wife, daughter Raquel, and son Stephen Thomas Mateen. trying to think where that might be from. I can't quite come up with it.
Turn that into a trivia contest tonight. You'll get that sooner or later with Michigan State.
71-57. Spartans. Harrison in a crowd, and a foul call.
Pretty much what's happened to him all night long. He catches, tries to deliver quickly, but they've been collapsing on him with at least 2 bodies around him, working his way to the glass that time and ending up at the free throw line.
David Harrison, a 57% shooter. And he is 1 of 2 from the line. Back of the iron. Let's check out the CBS Sports Line stat of the game, and it is free throws. Look at the disparity between the 2 teams. And Michigan State making good on their opportunities. Get complete tournament stats at cbssportsline.com or America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sports Line. Wilson trying to jar the ball loose from Hill, and a foul assessed. 3:33 left to play, and it's a 14-point Michigan State cushion. Substitution, Lorbek in for the Spartans, and Pele takes the floor for Colorado, replacing Lamar Harris.
One of the things that's really worked to Michigan State's favor this evening is the fact that they have gone deep into the bench. And just about everybody they've put on the floor has done a good job both in scoring and also rebounding the basketball. Good collective effort by Michigan State.
Hill good on the first free throw.
See, everybody has their warm-ups off there, huh? They've all played, they've all participated, that crew.
Chris Hill, 3.95 GPA in his first semester at Michigan State, and he has maintained it right around the 3.8 area. Finance major he just declared.
And that's not on a scale of 5 or 6, huh?
That's on 4. I know it's been a while since you've been in school. 72-59, Colorado able to get the bucket from Mirandis. Whoa. And a collision. Harrison, big body coming at Anaganye.
Yeah, that's one you don't want to be in the middle of right there with those 2 guys going after that basketball up for grabs.
It's number 3 on Harrison.
And no one open, so they go to the 4th option. Oof. It's a good thing that ball was thrown where it was. A little bit more to the left, and it would have been a really good collision.
Aloysius Anaganye from Southfield, Michigan. A team leader for this Spartan squad. And he's good on the first free throw.
Another great year shooting the basketball, too. The Big Ten, great number, 62% from the field this year. So obviously he doesn't get many touches, but when he does, he's very productive with them.
He's hitting his free throws as well. He's got 6 points, 6 boards.
Just wants to win. That's what he wants to do. Give him any roll out there, and he'll just contribute.
Wright feeds it down low. Mirandis. Under 3 minutes to play. Harrison turning mid-post. Through 2 defenders. Got it off the rim, no. And a foul called. It'll work against Michigan State. Torbert got tied up with the biggest player in the arena right now. That's number 4 on Torbert. You can follow each game of the NCAA tournament on the internet. For more information on how you can watch March Madness from your computer, just go to ncaasports.com.
Even though Harrison ends up at the free throw line right here, Ian, I think that's a good example just then, that play where he kind of forced his way to get a shot up, the frustration of having to deal with multiple people standing around him all the time. He did get it back and gets to the line, but I think it's just been a frustrating evening for him.
Antoine McGee in. James Wright takes a seat. 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 blocks for the sophomore David Harrison. It's a 13-point Michigan State lead. 2:50 left on the clock.
Reminds me a little bit of Joe Barry Carroll in his post-up game, and even at the free throw line.
Even the look, the way he carries himself. McGee with Torbert, and a foul is called. Kelvin Torbert, another Adonis at 6'4", 215, and all muscle. Only question with him is going to be that perimeter game and whether or not he can develop it over the next 2 years to become a legitimate star. In and out on the free throw, 76% on the season.
One of the things yesterday in the workout that was pretty evident was with watching him take numerous jump shots was that he was shooting a little bit on the way down. So a little fine-tuning to correct that, get the shot off at the peak of your jump, and he should be fine. He's got all the other skills and obviously can get the ball to the paint area and jump over people when need be.
And that could be a byproduct of playing in high school, going up against bigger players inside and having to hesitate with that jumper. Wednesday on CBS, Survivor is on a special night, and a surprise twist is about to blow the game wide open. An all-new Survivor on a special night Wednesday, 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. Copeland at the free throw line for Colorado, 2:38 remaining. No good on the first attempt. Copeland, 58% at the line. He's a young-looking freshman. And 1 out of 2 from the stripe. Anderson needs some help. He gets it from Hill. Ahead for Torbert.
Been good all evening long, handling the basketball, good spacing, good work against the traps just then, finding the middle of the floor. And now it's just a matter of working the clock, bringing it down to single digits before you get to your shot. Good use of the big guy in the middle.
Lorbek looks, there's no one near him, and a pull-up jumper.
That was well executed, though. Fake, keep the defenders moving away from the basket.
Wilson scooped to the hoop, no. Harrison knocked out of his hands. Off the ricochet, it comes out of bounds. Last touch by Copeland.
Well, you take a look at the extra fake, and then right in the middle of the floor, the big fella just says, hey, nobody's going to come out and guard me. Lorbek just steps up, a couple of dribbles, and bang, knocks one down, and they have just put the icing on the cake for Michigan State.
Under 2 minutes to play. And they lead it 76-62. Just a strong effort, start to finish, for the Spartans.
Well, for about the first 7 or 8 minutes, it was both teams going back and forth and challenging one another. And since that period of time, Michigan State has really been in control.
Hill slashing to the rim. Lorbek has it put back by Harrison. Another block for the Colorado center.
Harrison getting down the floor.
That's his 6th rejection. Mirandis from long range. Copeland offensive rebound. Comes up short, trying to tip the ball. And he does to the wrong team. Hill has it for Michigan State. Just over a minute left.
Interesting enough, all night long, too, there has been at least 3 Michigan State players in the defensive glass position looking for rebounds. In fact, sometimes it's been 4 and 5 guys hanging around the boards.
Colorado had an 18-17 lead in the first half, and then Michigan State ripped off a 19-5 spurt, and that was an early knockout punch.
That was just a backcourt violation, or when rolling out of bounds, it would have been a backcourt violation. Hill just lost the basketball, uncontested at half court.
49.5 left. So for Colorado, their first trip to the tournament since 1997, just their 2nd trip since 1969. And it will be short-lived as McGee lays it in. Tom Izzo continues to produce results in the NCAA tournament. Last year, Michigan State lost to NC State in the first round. And you know that stuck with Tom Izzo for 364 days.
Well, over the last 5 years, he's only had a 28-6 record in the month of March, so he knows what he's doing. Add number 29 to the ledger now.
7-second difference, shot clock to game clock. We are winding down.
He's got his team healthy, and pretty good time of the year to be very healthy, huh?
Lorbek, wow, blocked. Number 7 for Harrison. Don't forget, coming up next, March Madness rolls on. More first-round action. That will include look-ins at all the cliffhangers and buzzer beaters. Check your local listings. Beats the buzzer.
1 second was left on the shot clock. They'll add another 1.5 seconds or so on the game clock right now because the clock kept running, but that's just the way it's gone for Michigan State. Harrison with a big effort defensively with those block shots. And when you think about him defensively, I mean, he had 11 block shots against Nebraska, so obviously he patrols the defensive part of the floor, and a good effort from him overall, but just not enough for Colorado.
17 points for Erazem Lorbek. And a 79-64 lead for Michigan State. They just put 6 seconds on the board. They got to put 5.6, and they change it. McGee will touch it up. Final seconds. Mirandis gets a shot off at the buzzer. No good. An impressive first-round showing by the Michigan State Spartans. They take care of business against Colorado, 79-64. Spartans move on to the second round. They'll meet the winner of the Florida Sam Houston State game coming up momentarily. Michel Mirandis, 15 points, 7 rebounds. Allen Anderson, 14 points, 6 boards. They are our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. That'll do it for now. For Jim Spinarco and Darren Horton, this is Ian Eagle as we send you back to New York. Greg Gumbel.
All right, Ian, and with that victory, the Big Ten goes to 4-0 for the tournament. 79-64, the Spartans defeat Colorado.